How's
me.
your vacation?
Like, we're gonna record this.
Perfect.
All right. How's what? What were we
How's
saying?
your vacation?
Mm, yes, thanks for asking. It was great. We had a good time. We did like an early Christmas with their grandparents, my parents. My brother
Oh,
came in,
fun.
so we did like a whole present exchange, and then they went to Urban Air, which they have never been, so they love that.
Oh yeah, that place is fun.
It was really fun. And then we went fishing and iguana hunting and did all kinds of cool stuff. So
Oh, that's a blast.
yeah,
I always forget you have all little boys. That's awesome. I never had a brother. I'm like, I want a son.
yeah. Um, well, how did the semester finish up for you? How did school go?
It went good. All my exams went super smoothly. Praise the Lord.
Hmm.
It was really good to have them over. And then I came home. So my dad flew to Florida on Thursday to drive me back just because of my knee. Like it's a lot driving for the whole 9 hours. So I
Sure.
finished exams Wednesday and then he came in and then we left for South Carolina on Thursday. So it's been good being home with my parents. I met with my doctor on Friday.
Hmm.
And so we're gonna schedule surgery like for my knee. And then he's like, he felt my knee and he's like, I can't believe like it says you have a torn ACL. Cause he was like feeling it and he's like, you have like no instability, like you have no swelling. He's like, your knee, when he was, you know how they do those test movements where like bounce your knee and all of those different things. And he's
Yeah,
like, the feeling in your left knee is like the same as your right knee.
that's
So
great.
I know. So it was like that was an answer to prayer because like I've been praying like I wouldn't have to have surgery just because that's like a really daunting thought for me right now.
Mhm.
And so he's like, we're just gonna schedule surgery tentatively. And if you end up having like no more instability moments, like really big where I'm having that swelling and all of that, he's like, we're just gonna push it a little bit and
Yeah.
just let you keep strength. Because I told him I was working with you and like we were doing more single leg, like strength building stuff. And he's like, okay, I really like the sound of that, of like you actually not just doing nothing, because he's like a lot of people will just do nothing when they hear this, so he's like just continue doing what you're doing until let's say you feel something's unstable or you're not capable of it.
Great.
And so, which is what you've been telling me. I was like, yeah, like he's been telling me that and I haven't felt any like my knee's been feeling really good.
Yeah.
And so since I saw him now, I'm just paying like a little bit more closer attention because if I end up having surgery, they're gonna go in and see like if they read the MRI wrong. Cause he's like, we could possibly get in there and it might not be everything we saw.
Right.
And so we'll see. He's like, so I'll meet with him like first week of January before I go back to school. And if I end up having to have surgery, I mean, it's going to change my whole semester rather than being in Florida. So we'll see.
Sure.
But he's going to get me an ACL brace for training right now.
Okay. That's
And
great.
then just to help with anything that could be off. And then we'll go from there within the next month.
Wow,
So,
that's a lot of good news.
yeah.
So he's I'm gonna say back what I thought I heard from you, and you concur.
Yes.
So you're allowed to keep training right now. He's excited about that. He kind of
Mm-hmm.
likes the plan we put in place,
Mm-hmm.
and that he wants you to wear a brace while doing it just for some extra stability.
Mm-hmm.
And that he's kind of unsure if the MRI was a right reading, and when they get under there, they're going to actually look to see if it's as bad as maybe they think it is. So I actually helped someone earlier this year with a shoulder rotation
Mm-hmm.
surgery. They had to get they thought it was going to have to be a total shoulder, and they got in there and it was actually not as bad as they thought. And so her recovery was like 3 months, and
Wow.
usually a shoulder takes like 10 months.
Yeah.
So I've worked with a couple people on shoulders, and it can be, hers was really nice. So hopefully similar situation, you get in there,
Mhm.
it's maybe a little tiny thing that they just got to fix up, and then you're good to go.
Yeah.
But how have you felt training this month? Like, what has been things that have you felt like you built more confidence in what you can and can't do? And do you feel like you've gotten better at anything else that we've worked on? How's
Mhm.
your experience been this month?
Yeah, I have absolutely loved it. I definitely feel like in my upper body, I've gotten a lot more stronger. Like I
Mhm.
can physically feel it, like doing things like even pull-ups. Like I couldn't do those super well. or like do them as consistently as I've been able to do, like having the program and something that's consistent in working like my upper body.
Mhm.
And I think due to my knee, like I lost muscle in that leg, like I can see it. Like I don't know if it's, I just think I was what is it, like not engaging my quad as much or muscles like that in that leg due to worrying about instability and issues like that. But overall, like doing a lot of unilateral training, I've really enjoyed that. And just like the variety of exercises in the program has been like a lot of fun. So I
Good.
think that's even like helped me stay more motivated, is because I've enjoyed it so much more than when I'm like writing my own plans and like assuming where my results are going to go, but not actually having something that's like super set and consistent, of knowing this is the goal I'm working towards and this is something I will be able to achieve, like
Yeah.
with this training program. So that's definitely really encouraged me. Like I felt the word you mentioned, like confidence, I would say I've definitely felt more confidence in like being able to train and knowing that what I'm doing is for like long lasting and not, okay, like I did my workout, it's done, but like knowing it's all building up to something and it's like a continual progress. So I've really enjoyed it overall and definitely have seen, I guess, like progress in my what's it called, in body scan. Like it looked a little weird, I guess, from what I was expecting to see as far as like fat gain, muscle gain, and all of that. But I think it was helpful, like knowing where I was at eating with my calories, and like eating more probably caused that. But I was doing a lot better at like reaching my macro goals and what I was eating, like my intake, if that makes sense. So that was good.
Well, one thing, so I was looking at the hours that you did on that, which is why I wanted you to do another one.
Yeah.
Because typically when we do the in-body scan, we really want to keep it consistent time. So it's like if I did it, it's like for instance, when I did like a bodybuilding competition, I
Mhm.
did every Saturday at 6, right?
Mm.
6 a.m. Like I didn't do it at 6:30, I didn't do it at 7, I didn't do it 8. I always did it like at the same time. And I know that's like like kind of like meticulous, but it is more accurate, and in body scans can be fluctuate quite a bit even throughout a 24-hour period. So
Okay.
yours was so minor. I wasn't really totally like upset about it. First off, you're in a really good body fat percentage anyway. So I think you're like right around 15%. So which is like, if you're doing it like on the, like I like most of my female clients to be between 15 and 25 ish.
Mhm.
So like more so in the middle of that towards 15. So I was never really concerned from that to begin with. Our priorities really were just giving you kind of a well-rounded, good program that kind of allowed you to kind of feel functional throughout the week and then get you stronger. So
Mhm.
you start out really, really well with like a lot of our so like we'll go to uh your goals real here. We started out really, really well with like your assessment tests being that, I'm gonna pull this up, right? That you basically hit like I think 20 push-ups on your first one. Let me pull it back up, make sure I'm looking at it right. Assessment. Let's look at your resistance.
Okay.
So pass the air squat, right? You pass the front the plank test. Reverse plank was great, side plank was great, right? And then we look at like you push your push-up test, pass, right? Your rear foot elevated split squat passed. So you had like all those things that you did really, your goblet squat passed. So we had a lot of good strength to pick to pull on. So then
Mhm.
what I did was really, because of the knee being a big focus on ours, I really just did a lot of tempo and a lot of volume to allow you to kind of continue to get strong in that area. And then we built your volume on cluster pull-ups. So
Mhm.
I think you only hit like 2 pull-ups. So did you hit the 3 today for the first?
Yeah, well, actually, I tried them today and I got five,
Mm,
like in a row.
that's huge.
Yeah.
All right, so we got stronger. That's awesome.
Hmm.
Because I want to say like on your first one, you did like 2 on your assessment test. If I
Yeah.
pull it up over here. Um, but like it's just fun to kind of watch that grow, right? Like so week 1 was 1 1 1 1 1, and then we went, week 2 2 1 1 1, week 3 um 2-2-1-1, and then this last week for week 5 we did 3-2-2-1. So you can see how like we just built on volume every week. It made it a little bit more challenging. And you didn't like you get to it's like, hey, I'm just gonna test myself to see if I can do it. And I just did 5, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Um, going forward, like what I would continue to do, like, and I even brought some of your knee issues with my coach and just picked off of his brain.
Thank you.
Yeah, just because I want to continue to grow and everybody's learning here. And while I
Mm,
feel confident in what we did here, it can always get better, right?
mm,
So one of the things that we would do a little bit more going forward would be continuing to do unilateral stuff, but I'd probably take you off of any machine stuff. So no leg press, maybe a little bit of hamstring curl machine. We would
mhm,
still keep that in, but we would still do a lot of like dumbbell split squat. Probably take the R&T stuff out. We might
mhm,
do, I would stay away from lunge right now,
mhm,
just because I want to keep the knee stable, but have some sort of a balance approach. So
mm.
being in the split squat's a really good place for that. And then honestly, getting back into some maybe tempo bilateral back squat, front squat stuff. And then how did you feel on the cyclist squats? Did that bother
Well,
your knee?
no, this week it didn't bother my knee at all. I think there was the one time, maybe it was it last week when I was doing them at different I don't remember how many. It was like random time, maybe like two and two or something like that. When I
Sure.
was doing the, why am I forgetting my words right now? But like with the dumbbells holding them up.
Goblet.
Yeah, something like so that one there was one week where that felt weird, but that's it. Like I think it was I was having a flare up or something, but this week it felt great.
Yeah. I, I it was I just wanted to always check on that. So rule of thumb would be always go lighter on load and honor the tempo. So I would rather in this stage of the game just honoring kind of good slow mechanical tension. We'll build muscle with that too. Just as we continue to feel really, really good in the mechanics of the movement versus overloading it right now. And then
Yeah.
loading it appropriately. But like deadlifts were really good. So basically, what I would do going forward is I continue kind of like another cycle of this, probably for another 5 weeks of accumulation. We're
Hmm.
just going to keep building reps and building. And I would mix up now and probably have you do sets of 4 to 5 pull-ups with like high volume. So like 4 sets of 5, and we're going to have 2-minute rest in between, right? So we're not doing clusters
Okay.
anymore. We're going to do sets of 5. And then I
Hmm.
build off of that. And then and maybe even make you do some like, hey, we're going to go 25 pull-ups as fast as you can. First set, you got to go as many reps as possible, right? And it's like,
Hmm.
the first one you come out, you hit 5, you're smoked, the clock's ticking, and then you're doing a bunch of singles all the way through. And so it's just kind of building some volume that way. I'd sit and think about it, but I'm giving you some examples of how I would do
Yeah.
it. And then I would just kind of switch some of the movements up, but keep the patterns the same. So
Okay.
maybe instead of trap bar deadlift, we go into a conventional deadlift, or instead of a Smith machine hack squat, I might go maybe into like a Zercher squat or some sort of squat like that.
Hmm.
And that way, there's two things. One, we continue to get strong in the pattern.
Hmm.
Two, it keeps it that you're still learning a little bit of a new skill because there's a variation of complexity to that. And then three, we continue to build volume, which is always a good thing for majority of athletes. So
Okay.
and then I give you another 2 weeks of map 9, and then we would move into map 8, which would be more of a 15-minute intervals instead of
Mhm.
30-minute intervals. Have you enjoyed those?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah. I like them too. Not everybody does, but I enjoy just kind of a longer, steady cardio, but like kind of mixed modal
Yeah,
set.
I'm not a huge fan of doing the same thing for like a very, like that one week I did rows for super long. Oh my goodness, that was so long. But like, it feels like when you're mixing it up, I don't know, it's more enjoyable, I guess, for me personally.
Sure. Um, me too. I totally get that. How would you say diet went this month? I know it was kind of finals week, Thanksgiving,
Mhm.
a little all over the place. We had prescribed, our nutrition to be protein, kind of our focus. And
Yeah.
we touched on macros, but we never really got into counting it for the month one.
Mhm.
But how did you feel overall?
I felt good. I definitely would say different days I was like my eating amounts were very different, like just with my schedule and everything. So I mean, I'd always about hit my protein goal most days, but that would be like the majority of my food. Like I wouldn't say I was always hitting that calorie goal per day, which I think we had at like 2100, I'm pretty sure we set, or like building it up.
Right.
Because like some days I was hitting about 2000 or 2100, but it wasn't super consistent, I would say, just depending on like what I was doing that day. And so I would try to pack like have more consistent meals on the days I was hitting that calorie goal. And that seemed to help me a lot rather than like we had mentioned before we started the training program. Like I was trying to eat all my calories at like 3 meals a day, and
Yeah.
that just wasn't working. And so on days where I still had to do that, just like due to time and all of that, I wasn't hitting that calorie goal. But when I split up my meals, it seemed to help a lot.
Mm,
So
that's
that is something I definitely learned is like, okay, knowing like what my body does best when it comes to eating and all of that.
sure. So I want you to like have right expectations because we had talked about the in-body scan and all. Like,
Mhm.
wasn't worried about it. When I have a client who comes in who's already fairly fit and has a pretty good, body fat ratio, like that gets harder and harder to move down. And especially with your knee injury, it was just going to be really challenging to kind of create the intensity of probably what it would take to get there. But
Mhm.
it's even more important, I would say now, going forward with the surgery and all this stuff, to be able to control diet and inputs there
Mhm.
because you're not going to be able to move as much, right?
Mhm.
So that happening, we're all praying and hoping, that the surgery is a not a big one and it can turn out to be a
Yeah.
complete recovery. But let's say it's going to be maybe a 2 or 3 month recovery for you, and you're going to have to be doing some slower physical therapy style
Mhm.
training. Like that's when, probably 2100 is not going to be something you need. We'll probably lower that to something that would still be higher than the 1350, but what I would do is I would take your in-body scan. I would look at your metabolic, your basal metabolic rate, and then I
Mhm.
would add like 250 and another 250 total for your movement. So 500 more calories on top of that, plus
Mhm.
10% of whatever it is. And that would be
Okay.
kind of like I would try to just stay right there and not go above that. And then really, really drink your water and try to do things that you can. So like even if you can do like dumbbells, seated curls and presses,
Mhm.
while watching TV or something.
Yeah, anything seated.
Yeah, anything to kind of keep you moving a little bit, right?
Uh-huh.
And there's a lot of good data out there that like even training your other good leg, like that won't your good knee, doing just like maybe leg curls on that or something, a leg extensions machine could benefit getting the other leg stronger faster because the brain sends the nervous to both legs at the same time bilaterally. So your other leg is still working even if it's not moving.
Oh,
Uh,
that's interesting. I didn't know that.
yeah, there's been a lot of people who like, they'll break their left arm, they'll train just their right arm, and their left arm will still get stronger, even though they
Wow.
didn't move it or train it. It's not like they're symmetrical necessarily, but the other one still gains strength from doing something. And so it can help with recovery faster. But
Yeah, that's
I,
good to
yeah, I would just say keep communication going. I'd love to continue to hear like how things go, where you're at on stuff. And then also just like if you need some pointers going into the holidays going forward, of what to train, when to train,
Yeah.
love to be helpful with that. And then diet wise, if you need anything, pick my brain on that as we go
Mhm.
forward. But we'll have some more answers on what that'll look like. Let's wait till surgery time.
Okay.
And
Yeah, and
honestly, just
Oh,
enjoy the holidays. Like I think it's
okay.
healthy to just have fun and enjoy Christmas and not be too smug about nutrition during this time of the year.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I did talk to my parents like about continuing training with you,
Yeah,
and they said that is something that they would definitely help me with in the new year. So like after they kind of want to see what's going on with my surgery first, like
agree.
if
I
I
think
end up having that, and then they're like, we'll like go from there based on where you're at, what they end up finding, just to see what they'll be paying for like my physical therapy a month and all of just like money wise, I guess.
sure.
Because I have all my sisters too. So they're like, we just want to make sure we're not putting it all into all these different things when if I'm needing physical therapy initially, that's what they'll be paying for. And then they'll let me know financially what they can and can't do. So
Totally. Also, if your parents have you on a HSA or an FSA for your insurance, I do take insurance so it can help pay for up to 30% of the costs.
okay.
So, insurance does cover working with me if you have an HSA or FSA,
Oh, I did not know that. That's good to know.
which is cool. Most people in the state of Florida do not have it, but you're in the
Okay.
state of you're from South Carolina, so you might.
Yeah.
So just ask them to check that, and if you need me to text that over to you, because I know I didn't know anything about insurance with regard to that like until 3 months ago.
Yeah,
So
I don't know anything about it.
yeah, it's okay. I didn't in college either, so we can talk about that if that's a financial issue too. But hey,
Okay.
I have loved coaching you this last
I
5 months.
have loved it too. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you've been really fun to train and to use some of my knowledge on. So thanks for helping me get through my CCPC.
I hope it helped. I was like worried that my results didn't help
No,
you, but I hope.
it was excellent.
Oh,
You did
okay.
great, and actually it created a really good case study for me with someone with kind of a ACL issue, which we didn't know when we started. So it's kind of cool
Oh,
that we worked
yeah.
through that, and it helped me grow as a coach. So I appreciate it. Hopefully, it was a great experience for you,
It
and
was definitely.
hopefully in the new year you'll be a client of mine. So it'll be great.
I know. I hope. I'm
So
just praying I don't have to have surgery. And then, I mean, if I do, I'm like, Lord, please let it be a quick recovery. Because he said if it's full ACL, he's like, it's going to be longer than your previous recovery, which doesn't make any sense. But
yeah, that's
we'll
gonna
figure
suck.
it out as we
So
go.
he wants to do another MRI with you.
So he wants to see, he says if in a month I have no issues, like any flare-ups, no swelling, no instability moments, he wants to wait on surgery, and then I'll go back to school. I'll go back to school, and then like I guess spring break or something, he's like, I'd like to do another MRI and see, because he's like, I mean, it'd be crazy if the MRI results were different in the MRI. That would be a miracle.
Yeah.
But he's like, it could happen. Like they've seen situations where, let's say the ACL looks like it's completely gone, and then they do another MRI and it's there.
Hmm.
So we're just gonna see. We'll have our surgery scheduled, and then I'll meet with him 1st of January after I get my brace, and he's just gonna be like, "How are you feeling? Like, if your body's not feeling like you're needing surgery, like I don't just want to put you in surgery just to put you through that recovery right now, if that's not something that's needed, I guess."
What's
So,
what's training looking like going forward right now?
like just in general,
Yeah.
I'm probably just the same I've been doing.
Okay.
I mean, when I have the ACL brace, he's like, you can push your knee. He's like, I feel like because I'm like, I haven't been like, I like to play tennis and stuff like that. I haven't been playing any tennis or doing
Hmm.
anything, just mainly walking, like just like back straight and backward movements, not running or anything like that. But he's like, if you feel like you can push your knee, like doing pivotal movements, he's like, that's gonna really show us if you do have an ACL um factor in that's really not keeping you stable. And so he's like, you can push yourself as much as you want, but just know like if you have any repercussions of that, then that's gonna really show us that you need surgery or not. But he's
Sure.
like, training wise, like just do what you're doing. He's like, if you're having no issues, like you can go heavier on weights, like you don't have to do nothing. But he's
Yeah.
like, just listen to your body. So that it's he's like, it's the most gray area situation ever, because it's not like, okay, do this and don't do that. He's like, it's kind of just that middle ground of whatever you're feeling, like So it's not the most clear situation
Okay.
what
What
he was.
how about I just continue to program for you until you get back, and then we'll talk then. And then if it's like we got to hold off because mom and dad and the surgeon, we won't. But let's, because I already have an idea of what I'd like to program for you for the next cycle. And if you have a gym up there, I don't mind doing it. Do you have a Globo gym?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, then let's just do
I
that.
feel bad. I mean, I would like, no, I'd like to pay you for that. I'm not gonna let you just do that.
No, it's fine. Let's just get you to January, and then by January 1st, if it's a no go, then we'll just stop them. But uh,
Okay.
because I feel like, and here's why I would like to do that, because I feel like you're making progress with the things that we're working on, and I think it seems to be helping your doctor seeing it. So if that's the case, I'd hate for you to stop, get stiff, less stable, and then, you know, you're playing tennis and you hurt it or something like that. So I don't know. That's just my thoughts, but what do you think?
I mean, that's totally good with me. I would like to like compensate you for that. So I would talk to my parents
Yeah,
about
let's work it out. But
that. Okay.
just right, I'm not worried about it. Let's just get it going this week, okay?
I so appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Yeah. I'm gonna hop off now because I do have to get
Okay.
into another client. But
Yes, yes, of course.
thank you so much. Have a great Christmas, and we'll be in touch.
Okay,
Let's
thanks.
keep
You
talking.
too.
See ya.
Okay. Bye, Blake. Thank you.